Hey everybody, thanks for joining another mscrm-addons.com webinar. Today we're going to be covering how to save CRM data storage and manage attachments effectively in Microsoft Dynamics CRM. My name is Clint Higley, and from the list here I see that there's a couple people that have joined our webinars before, some of y'all that haven't. For those of y'all that have not, you're going to notice a little chat window down there in the bottom left-hand corner of the meeting burner screen. During the webinar, any questions or anything like that, you can go ahead and post that to that chat. And we have a couple people in here that can answer any questions or anything like that that you may have. Also, we always record all of these webinars and make them available on our website. And also, all these slides that I'll be showing today will also be available on our website. So with that out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and get right into it. So one of the things that we have here is that we're going to be covering today is attachments in Microsoft Dynamics CRM. And one of the things we want to cover is CRM data storage versus SharePoint. Okay. So basically, on one side of the equation, we have Microsoft Dynamics CRM. And from what we've seen and from what our customers who've been using this product have told us, basically attachments stored in their CRM database take up about 70% of their storage. That's usually about the average figure that we usually see. One of the kind of downsides about this whole thing with CRM is that those attachments are really hard to find, and it's non-searchable. You can't search for any attachments or anything like that inside the CRM system. One thing to note here is that so if CRM does come with a certain amount of storage that you get per month, but any additional storage that you're going to add to that is going to cost you about $9.99 per gigabyte per month. Okay, so that it can be a hefty chunk of change if you are, say, for example, let's say you send out an email blast to about 1,000 people in your database with an attachment. You're going to be hitting that storage, getting into that extra storage really, really quickly. On the other side of the equation, we have Microsoft SharePoint. Okay, and one of the nice things about SharePoint is it was really set up and designed to handle all your documents and things of that nature, and to organize them really, really easily. So basically, it ends up being an advanced document library. Okay. Then one of the nice things, if you integrate SharePoint with CRM, you can associate the CRM record via the SharePoint integration really, really easily now. They've made that really simple. One of the strongest points about SharePoint is it's very easy to search with the SharePoint indexing service. So it can basically index everything and make that all easy to search. So how do we get these two to kind of talk to each other? Basically what we have in the middle is AttachmentExtractor. And basically, AttachmentExtractor is designed to move or copy files from CRM to SharePoint or to a file share. Basically, what we've typically found in a lot of our scenarios from our customers is that it's going to shrink that CRM database by at least 50%. Okay, so that's a pretty large thing there. It's good for archiving data, replicating data, and giving you local availability of your data. Okay, so you can have all that in just basically one place. And one of the main points is it can help you establish a structured library within SharePoint without you having to set all that up. One of the main things that I do want to point out is that you can see here, let's say for example, you have 50 gigabytes of additional storage. Okay, so your annual cost on that at $9.99 a month is going to be, for the CRM storage, is going to be $5,994. SharePoint is 20 cents per gigabyte per month. So the SharePoint storage cost is going to be $120 per month. Okay, so if you kind of do the math here, it's going to give you a total savings of $5,874 per year. All right, and so that's just kind of like a typical scenario there. One of the nice things about that with the savings is that, AttachmentExtractor is pretty much going to pay for itself within about 6 months to a year. So it saves a lot of costs. Basically, now I want to go into how it works for everyone. So all work is basically done out here by a service. Okay, you can either have that that service running on a local computer or server here, or you can have it running on a VM out in the cloud somewhere. You know, if you have a Microsoft Azure server or something like that, you can run it off of that. And we have customers doing both. What it then basically does is it checks for new emails and notes every so often. Okay, so it's basically this service is going to come up to CRM and kind of just find out if there's any new notes or any new email attachments or anything like that, and check them. And then finally the next step will be that it's going to either move or copy that file to the alternative storage, that either being SharePoint or a file share. Again, doing this all in the background, no user interaction whatsoever. What it then does is if you're moving it, it's going to place a link to that extracted file inside of a Microsoft CRM. Okay, there are no changes here when it's doing this to the CRM UI, and users can access all files as usual from within Microsoft Dynamics CRM. So for your users, they really don't see a difference there. Last but not least, that if you need to revert the extraction, that is possible. Also, another thing, like a typical scenario for that was, let's say we have an email that we need to forward to someone that's about a month old, and that attachment's already been extracted. We can revert that extraction, and then that email will then, the attachment will then be reattached, and then we can send that on. Okay. So then moving on. So I'm basically going to do two demos here to kind of show you how this works. The first demo is going to be basic extraction service setup. Okay, and it's just this is basically the setup that is just like the out of the box, pretty easy to do. It takes you about 5 minutes to set it up. The main goal of this is actually to reduce CRM storage and set up that indexation. One of the typical scenarios for this, and this would be something that we could see, is if, say, for example, you know, like a lot of people, they end up getting CRM Online, and then they end up filling it up with attachments, and then they come to us because they've gotten a letter from Microsoft saying that they're, you know, this is how much, you know, their storage is being taken up, and this is, you know, like, and 90% of that or 70% of that is for attachments. So basically what we want to do is set this up to reduce that size and reduce the cost. Some of the things that we're going to cover in here are the basic extraction settings and the CRM and SharePoint connection. The next thing, the next demo that we're going to do is we're actually going to create an advanced repository. And basically what the goal of this would be to have all attachments related to an opportunity available in a single location on SharePoint. Okay. All documents related to that opportunity should be accessible at a glance. So that would be from inside of CRM. So basically what this is going to allow you to do, this is going to set up that, that file structure and everything for you in SharePoint automatically without you having to really do anything. Again, this is all kind of out-of-the-box functionality, and it's very easy to set up and do. Basically, we're going to cover up how to set up the service to move both email attachments and notes, depending on the CRM record that they're related to. In our case, it's going to be opportunities, and we're going to relate that back to the accounts that they're associated with. The topics that we're going to cover is the advanced extraction settings and options then. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and flip right on over to the demo system. And what I've got here, in the background, I've got SharePoint, my SharePoint all ready to go in the background. I've got my, my CRM back here as well. And also up front here, I've got my AttachmentExtractor service management. All right. This is basically where I'm going to set up the service and do anything that I want to do. So our first thing here that we're going to do, this is the, I've set this up. This is the standard attachment copy service. I'm going to go ahead and start this service and let this go and then explain to you kind of what I'm doing here. So I'm going to be moving these out. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and let that fire up. And then we'll start talking a little bit about some of these settings here. So it just takes a second or two for this to go ahead and go. And then let's see here now. Let me just make sure that everything's fine. So basically what I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to come down to this so it's a little bit easier to see, because you know when it's actually working, it's kind of hard for everyone to see this. So just one second, I'll just pull on over to this other setup. So basically what I'm going to be doing here, when I'm setting up a new service, specifically, let's say, for example, I'm setting this service up, the first thing I want to do is give it a service name, okay? That's the first thing you're going to do, and then from there you'll just verify that. Once you verify that, that the service name has been set and there's not another service that's running with that same name, it's going to give you all these other options here to put in there. Next thing I'm going to want to put in there is my log file path where I want to write logs to, etc., if needed. And then I can, pretty much everything else, I can set my minimum attachment size. That's basically, it can go as high as you want to, or I think the minimum is 2 KB. So that would be the minimum attachment size that we can extract. Again, I have a setup of different blocked extensions, and I can add to this or take away from this as needed. Basically, the ones that we've added here are the ones that are just typical, like executable files, things of that nature, things that we don't want out there stored on our SharePoint location. Now, the next thing is the most important, is the CRM data processing. I have basically two options here. I can either copy. This would be in the case of, say, if I wanted to replicate everything on my CRM database, or maybe back things up or archive things. I can do that using this. The next possible thing that I can do is to move those, to actually take those from my CRM database and move them into SharePoint or to my file share. It does say consider these options carefully. Usually we suggest when you're testing out AttachmentExtractor that you start with copy to make sure that everything's working as you see fit, and then going on to move once you're satisfied with the results. Now I'm going to flip on over here to the extraction tab. So basically the way that we have this set up is we have these two different sections here. They're very similar. One is for your emails. The next is for your notes. Basically what this allows us to do is say, let's say for example here I want to, I'm going to extract my email attachments and notes, and I do want to index those attachments so that they're easily searchable in SharePoint if I want. I can also index the email body or the note body as well. So then I can search on those topics and say, for example, if I know that there's an email out there, I can actually search for context in that email and actually pull all that stuff back and see those attachments associated with it. Again, here the next thing is that basically I can set this up here to process things basically within a certain time frame. So for example here, if I want my emails to be in there, let's say because I forward a lot of emails, I definitely want to hold on to those emails and those attachments. I want those attachments to stay with that email for, say, for example, the next 2 days. Then I can come in here and I can put in 48 hours here. And that would basically say that, okay, so if an email is older than 48 hours, I'm going to go ahead and process it. Okay. You can apply this the delay to either the created on date or the modified date. It doesn't matter which. So however you want to do that. Same thing goes for the notes. Last is any updates or anything like that done to the email or done to the note. It'll take that into account and reprocess that to make sure that anything, if there's any changes or anything like that that have been made to it, that either redoes the extraction or updates the index or the updates the indices. Moving on, we have a couple options here under the other. We can generate here folders. This is what I'm doing up here. I'm actually generating here daily folders here just because I'm archiving these things. I'm sticking this into SharePoint. So I'm doing a daily folder. So you can do either a daily or a weekly folder. And then I can exclude entities if I want to. So if there's certain entities that I know that I want the attachments to stay in, I can actually include those entities here, and AttachmentExtractor will not look at those. Some of the storage options that I want to cover those storage options. Here we have the choice between SharePoint and file share. To set this up, it's pretty simple. Basically, I'm just going to enter in the URL of my SharePoint server. Once I enter that in, my SharePoint user and password, it's basically going to give me a list of libraries where I can dump those files if I need to. Basically, in this particular service it's running at the moment, I'm dumping this all into the Documents folder, which you see in the background here. I'm dumping that all into there so that you can, so that everything's going to be stored in there. It's going to be easy for me to find. But the file share, or the file storage is basically the same thing. I'll just set up the path to my server, to my file share, and my external path, my file share user and password, and then it'll be putting all those files into that particular folder there. The next tab that we've got here is Runtime. This is kind of a new feature for 2015. It's one of those things where basically I can set this up to say, like for example here, I don't want this to run during business hours. I can actually schedule this then to for when it should run. So I can schedule this to run during certain periods of the day, so that it's not interfering or impacting my business or my CRM users or anything like that, if that is an issue. Usually we find that it's not. The last thing that I need to do is set up my connection to my CRM system. Here, basically, this is just a standard setup. If you set up any of our products before, it's pretty straightforward. I'm basically entering in what type of CRM connection I have, then entering in my CRM URL information, my username, domain, and password, and then I'll retrieve my organizations and connect it to the correct organization. Once I'm done with that, I can hit OK, and then the connection from CRM is then made, and I don't have to do anything else to it. Once I'm done with that, I can go ahead and save that service configuration, and then it's all good to go. So now this has been running for a little bit here. So I want to go over and flip over here to SharePoint here. Let's see what this thing has extracted here. So it's gone ahead, it's extracted a few files here. Gone ahead and set this up for my particular organization. This is really nice because you can have, let's say for example, you have multiple organizations, like for example, a lot of people nowadays, they have Sandbox instance, and they have dev, and they have prod and everything like that. It organizes those according to the organization here. If I come down into my my folders here I've got my weekly folders, and there I've got my my attachments stored into there. So let me just pull back here. Go ahead and show this one here. Excuse me. So you can see here, I've written a lot of files into here already. One of the nice things that we do is we pull over actually all the metadata and things of that nature, so that it's easy to find everything. You can see what type of entity type it is, and also you have a CRM link back. I'm going to show this in just a minute with the next example on how this kind of works here, but just kind of want to show you that all the files are being extracted into here, and all of them have been moved right on over into there. So I'm going to go ahead and stop this one. Okay, stop that service, and now the next one that I'm going to go ahead and start up is the extraction, where I'm actually extracting this and creating the SharePoint paths. So I'm creating these SharePoint locations and everything. I'm going to go ahead and start this up, and give it just a moment to start. And just takes a brief instant here to start up, as usual, and fire up. So there we go. So it started up. Now I'm going to go back over here to this setup so you can actually see it. So one of the things that I've done here with this one, so now I've gone ahead and I've set this up. Again, it is moving. But a couple of the major differences here that I have here is that under here, this let's see, for example, my my extraction tab, I'm actually I'm using this whitelist feature here. So I have here, basically you can kind of see this as a black list, and you can see this as a whitelist. So basically what I'm doing here is right up in here. If I'm actually I put in my opportunity, so I'm just going to click on that and see if I can actually show that real quick. My included entities here, and hopefully everyone can see this. Just one moment. So if I come over here to the extraction, I hope you guys can see this, but it's basically the included entities here. I'm just pulling from the opportunity. So basically what it's doing here with this particular whitelist is it's actually just pulling from attachments from the opportunity. So this actually, if you're thinking that, hey, I only want to pull attachments from the opportunity, from leads, from accounts, but don't want to pull them from anywhere else, instead of excluding everything but those three, you can actually just include them over here, and it's only going to look at those. All right, I'm just going to flip back here to my attachment. I hope you guys could see that. And then show you the last little portion of it. And this is actually the part that sets up the SharePoint integration. And it's really, really simple. I mean, to set up that SharePoint integration, I'll show you what this does in just a moment. I'll just go ahead and click that, and there we go. That's pretty much it. We've got our CRM SharePoint integration enabled. Basically, what this is going to do is adhere to your settings there, how you set up your document management or your connection there from SharePoint to CRM. It's going to adhere to that. It's automatically going to create those SharePoint locations for me if one is not there. It's also going to create, I'm doing the locations with the GUID suffix so that it's usually easier to search on and things of that nature. Another thing that I can do here is I can retry an email if the path logic did not return a location. So basically that's for like, there's sometimes you'll get rogue emails in your system that it can't find the path for. And we'll go back and we'll retry those again until all the other emails have been processed. So real quick here, now that's been running for a minute or two. I want to go ahead and take a look at this and see if I got anything yet. So I'm going to flip on over here to SharePoint. Oh, there we go. So there's my accounts. And let's see here. We actually have some pulled in here. Let's see here. I'll just pick one of these here. So basically, I've got the account here for AdventureWorks. As I'm pulling from the opportunities here, it's created an opportunity folder underneath this particular account here. So I can go ahead and open that up, and I can see all the opportunities in here associated with that. And let's see, and open that up. And then I can see here I've got a file that has been extracted from this particular opportunity here. One of the nice things about that, so I'm going to go ahead and open up this link back here, CRM link back, and open this up in CRM so you can see that. It's an annotation, so just one moment here. So here I've got my annotation here. You can see here that the file has actually been moved. This is the one difference here that I do want to show you here. All the files will be entitled here. It'll be the name of the file and then whatever the file extension is, and then we add the .url extension. So if I'm a user and I'm inside of CRM and I open up this note and I want to actually open this particular attachment here, you can see here I'll just go ahead and open it up, downloads the file as usual. I open it, and there we go. It pulls the information back for me. Your users really have no idea that they're going to SharePoint, but really they're actually just pulling this file from SharePoint. It's pretty simple and easy to do. This will actually work for pictures, for PDFs, for anything. It'll pull any attachments or anything like that. I want to go ahead and show you this real quick. I'll just open this up, this particular opportunity here. Okay. Come on, CRM. All right, great. So I have my opportunity here, and I can move over here to my notes field. I can actually open up one of these notes here. Let's see, it was this particular one. You can see here that I've got the URL extension there. Again, if I clicked on it, it would open it up just as before. And I believe, let's see, that one has yet to be extracted. So it goes through a process. It extracts usually for annotations. It extracts the oldest first and works its way forward. And for emails, it starts with the newest and works its way backwards. So you'll find sometimes that, if it's a new CRM system and you're just implementing this, it may take it some time to catch up with everything, but it eventually will. The one thing that I did want to show you, though, is if I open it up and go to my documents section here, you can see here as this loads, it's making my connection to the integrated SharePoint. And it just, it always wants to be relatively slow and fail on me. Hang on one sec. There we go. Whew, crisis averted. So you can see here that basically I've got, this is my my document here that I've had extracted from CRM to SharePoint, and it's in there in the Documents folder, so I can quickly go in and look and grab the correct file that I want to grab that's associated with this particular opportunity. All right, so that concludes our demos there. I'm going to flip back. I want to talk a little bit about the roadmap for Attachment Extractor here. Some of the things that we have coming up is the advanced scheduling, okay? And basically what this is going to do for you is it's a definition, you can define a definition of date ranges, okay? This is good for archiving purposes, so let's say, for example, we want all our 2014 attachments to be in one folder and then the 2015 attachments to be in another folder. You know, it can actually set that up for you, and it's going to either act on, you can have it act on the created on or the modified on date so that it puts the attachments in the correct archive. That's going to be a really nice feature to kind of keep everything, instead of having a, you know, just a SharePoint location with a whole bunch of attachments in there, they're actually going to be archived how you want them to be. Last but not least, there's going to be a new and better summary. I just want to flip back real quick and show you guys what we have so far. What we have right now, usually we've got a little tooltip here that you can hover over, and you can see your notes processed, emails processed, attachments processed. You can actually see that it's actually working and doing its thing. But one of the things that some people have wanted is a little bit more robust reporting, so you can actually see what's happening. Like, for example, one of the things we're going to show is the total number of attachments that have been extracted, the total size of all the attachments combined, either in megs or gigs, that have been extracted. And then another nice feature would be the number of attachments that have been processed in the last 12 hours, for example, just to see that and see what it's been doing. So that's going to be a really nice thing, and those should be coming relatively shortly. So I want to thank everybody for joining. Feel free to join any of our other upcoming webinars. You can, you know, follow the link there, see what's coming up. I believe the next one we're going to be doing is showing our Documents Core Pack with our DocuSign features that we've implemented with that, being able to sign and countersign documents and send those to multiple people and have do e-signatures and things of that nature, so please sign up for that. Couple of resources that I always like to include on this. You can get us on the web at www.mscrm-addons.com. Our Help Center, which includes live chat support, that's at our website, but /support. And another thing is, don't forget to check out our blog. It's blogs.mscrm-addons.com. There's a lot of tips and tricks on how to use our add-ons, things of that nature, some troubleshooting tips if you're having some issues. You can find that all there. Contact information is below for Europe and US. You know, please feel free to contact us at any time with any questions or anything like that. I'm going to go ahead and open this up to questions. See if there's anything here in the chat here that have been asked. So I'll just go ahead